Welcome. My name is Nguyen. I'm an art therapist at the Colorado Springs Fine Arts Center at Colorado College. And this 8-week series, watercolor, using watercolor to release and to relax, is sponsored by NAMI and Array Parody. So for today, the first week, we will need 5 Strathmore card, watercolor card like this, and it will be posted where you can purchase. You will need only two brushes, the 1-inch flat one and the medium round brush. 2 cups of water, of course the set of watercolor, as you will see in later demonstration, and then some cardstock to tape your paper on. So before you get into that, I just want to show you how to take off the tape. This is a masking tape of the paint. So make sure that you pull it sideways like this slowly, and it will not tear the paper. If you pull it straight up like this, it's a tendency to tear. You wait until it dry, completely dry, to pull it off. Let's see. So make sure always sideways. And then this one. So this would be the first image that I will demonstrate with wet brush technique to relax. There are other different techniques that within the circle. And then this is just some splattering. You can see that. Okay, this is just letting it drips, and I will post the images, the final image of this. And this is just like a sky and water, using the similar technique with wet brush technique, watercolor. All right, I will switch the camera over, so hopefully you enjoy this video. Thank you. So we're going to start out with about supplies. So I have the watercolor papers, paint here on the piece of rag. Today for this technique, we will use only 2 brushes, a flat 1-inch brush and a medium round brush. So we'll start out with, I have here a piece of cardboard. I'm going to put masking tape on that first. It's a card, watercolor card. So I have here masking tape. When you tape it along the edges, this is the middle part of the card. Okay, make sure you press down in the middle. And have the edge evenly. So as you see the outcome of the artwork, the edges clean, uh, all even of the edge makes a difference in the image that you're creating. So, okay, I'm running it again around the inside of the edge, especially when we're doing with wet brush technique. Okay, so I have already done a bunch of on the side here. Let's get started. So first, because this is relaxation with wet brush technique, we're going to wet. I have 2 container of water here. I like one clean and one dirty. So I'll use the large brush to get the paper on there. And this 1-inch brush is easy to get the water even. You want a lot of water because you want to let the water move the color with wet brush technique. Okay, so once you have kind of like um, enough water in there, we can always add some more water in there. Okay, so I always spray with a spray here, spray all the color because I don't know what my mood I'm going to use what color. So wet brush technique is the act of surrendering, allowing the water to move the color for you. Okay, so dip your brush in water first and pick a color. So I tend to pick a lighter color first. So it's load up with a lot of paint and just tap. So tap in the middle. Okay, breathe. Breathe in and just tap, add some water to it. And let your mind just empty and watch the color float. So let go of all your anxiety, your sadness. I'm going to pick up some orange. Okay, the angle of the paper is a little bit tilted to the top. So I'm going to put the masking tape underneath. So, because I can, so I'm adding orange to that. Okay, now let's go to the red and just have in the middle there. It's okay, that is not perfect. Add some water to it. I'm going to remove the masking tape so that okay, so I'm going to go to magenta. Here you can think of an emotion that you want to release and let go. So some frustration, just breathe and allow the water to do the work for you. Okay, we'll move to some blue. I'm going to touch it over here and add some water. The thing is that I'm not moving my brush on the paper too much because I don't want to muddy up the color. Let the water run into itself. This is the beauty of watercolor. If you mix, especially complement colors, the opposite on the color wheel, the color will get muddy. But this is, again, the act of surrendering. You surrender yourself and painting. Let go of control. Let go of this desire wanting to everything your way. Just use what you have and put it there. Okay. Um, let's see. Let me do some purple and add water. Okay. I have a piece of paper towel on the side here, so if it's too much uh, water, I can just dab it up, pick it up on the edge here. Okay. Adding some water to it. I think I'm going to add some bright green on the side just so that it kind of balance out the color. And I'm doing some deep breathing as I'm doing this. Adding water to the edges so that it float, the color can float to the edge. See, just clean water and it runs to the water. Let's do some green here. This is a good practice for wet brush techniques. I think I'm gonna let it dry. So that's it for this one. Uh, Very basic wet brush technique. Wet the paper, put paint on, okay, and then let it dry and see. Usually I'll get surprised when it dry. It will always look different. So here's another one that I already taped down. So for this one, I'm going to use um, masking tape and then just draw a circle lightly. And you can do whatever shape that you want. So instead of wetting the whole page, I'm going to just wet the circle. And those of you who are into doing mandala, this is a good um, relaxation technique using the round. So wet the round brush. So this is wet brush technique, but within a shape. So and then we can talk about what you can use this techniques for. So I think I have enough water there. Okay, again, clean my round brush and then I'll dip in clean water. And then this time I'm going to use, like this is the fun part. You can do a combination of any uh, color. So I'm going to start out with the sienna brown and again, tapping in the middle. So adding water to it and just breathe and follow the movement of the water. We'll go back and pick some yellow and tapping around that. Adding some more water, get all the paint of my brush off of it. Okay, so I feel like putting something in the middle there. So let's try some purple. And this one, see how cool that is? This is the characteristic of the paint, the color. That when you put it on, it kind of spread and bleed. It's called blooming. Okay, I'm going to try this blue, this ultramarine blue, and let it bloom on its. And I know there's some of you who have the need to be in control. This is difficult for you, but this is surrender, allowing the water to do the work for you. Okay, I'm going to try some green in there. The blue mixing with the yellow um, creates some green right there. I'm adding some bright green in there. And I don't use black often, but I think I'm going to put it in just so that it has some depth to it. Okay, so now here's a lifting technique. So I wipe my brush off with any water. And then I'm just over here picking up. So it's dapping up the water, the clean water. The, the paint will run to wherever I pick up water. D'accord. Okay. So I'm going to go back in and add some orange. I like the combination of the sienna brown and orange. So this is loaded with orange in here. Just don't think too much. Just pick whatever color you like and put it in on there so that it move. Okay. I think I'm done with this. I like to see what it look like when it's dry, and then I might decorate around it. I might not. So we'll see. So I'll put that aside. This is all wet brush technique. Uh, so let's do another one. Let's do this one vertical. Okay. So I'm going to wet it again because lots of water. Okay. With this one, I'm going to tilt, put the paint on one side and tilt the cardboard like up like this on one side. Okay. So I'm going to run some light blue, teal blue right here, and just put it on the one, this end, this edge here. Okay. And then tilt it up and add some water to it. Okay. This is very good to, um, paint with the intention of releasing your sadness, your anxiety, your stress. Okay. So I'm going to holding it up, tilting it up. I'm going to add some yellow and just tap. Because if I'm brushing the yellow into that, it will turn green. As you can see, blue mixing with yellow, it become green. But I want the yellow to keep its original hue as much as I can. Okay. Now, so this is another technique with brush, um, you know, uh, playing around with wet brush techniques. I'm dapping up some excess water on the side. And then now another technique to get the paint on wet brush. And so you don't have to kind of like muddy up the color. It's called tapping. So wet my brush and then pick up, let's do magenta. And okay, I have enough, I think, paint. Holding it tight, one hand like this, and then two fingers, tap on it lightly. Move your brush around. I like that. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. Okay, so and let's do another one. This one, I'm going to run it vertically. So again, wetting my paper with the 1-inch brush. Okay, so I'm going to lift this side up and running the, let's do some red. We haven't touched the red a little bit. So tapping on the top, add some water to it. Don't worry about it. Okay, we'll add some, make it darker. Just add some red in there. I'm going to add the bright yellow. So when it makes it become brown, but I mean orange, but it's very subtle because the red is already there. And then I'm going to add some purple just here and there, so that become, so purple mixed with red become kind of like mauve maroon color. So I'm clean brush, so I'm going to kind of move, wetting the edges. I like this white spot right there. Okay, it's kind of feathery like. Okay, maybe a little bit more darker. Let's just do green. And add water, let it run. Okay, we'll see when it dry how it look. Okay, and last one. Make sure all the edges are pressed. Okay, again, I'm wetting it. So with all the previous techniques, so let's do um, kind of like a scene, like the sky with the ocean. So I'm wetting, we're going to do sideways. So this is the sky and the ocean at the bottom. Okay, so we'll start out with the brown brush. I'm going to pick up some light blue here, and this I'm brushing it on, but adding water to it. So then let it run down a little bit. Okay, so also a little bit, not too much, ultramarine blue. So it's a different shade of blue. Okay, so once it's run down, it kind of bleeds down and make its way to the middle. I'm going to lay it flat. I'm going to use my paper towel, just dab up. So that it has that in the middle there. Okay, so I'm going to turn it sideways, easier for me to do the line. So I'm going to use my 1-inch brush, like go it this way. So holding it flat like this, pick up some blue a little bit. It has some blue and purple. So move this a little bit and holding it flat and moving along. See this? And it's cool to have so there's a lot of paint there, so I'm gonna wipe it up a little bit. The all the similar shade together. So magenta, teal blue, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, all that color in there. So, and if you notice, the ocean has a little green into that. So you can pick up and just very strategically putting some green there. And remember, it's still wet, so you can kind of move the color a little bit. So I want a little bit darker at the bottom. So I'm cleaning my brush because it has multiple color. So I'm going to just you pick up this blue right here. I think this is, and put it at the bottom. It's the same kind of stroke. So this is kind of dry, wet brush. See that? Let's straighten this out a little bit. Okay, so remember that tapping technique we just did with color. So instead of with paint, just clear water. So I want some bloom of water here. So I'm tapping. You can't see it right away, but when it dry, it will have those marking. Okay, so let me dab up the middle part a little bit. Sky too. So pick up the paper towel and better. Okay. So have fun enjoying all the different techniques with the wet brush, watercolor techniques, and try it yourself. Do it, combine it. You have at least 24 colors, and some of it's challenge yourself to do just one color, one family of colors, like all these shades of yellow or orange, or the purple and blue, or even this. It's awesome. So enjoy.